What's going on, everybody? Um, Obviously, there's something a little different today. um, Before I started my channel about a year ago, for 7 years prior to that, I had been growing my hair and I had very long locks. And here's a picture. I'll put a picture of my headshot with my locks. And I kept them, and I always said that, even though I had been growing my hair for about 7 years, that once I achieved a certain thing, I would cut my locks, but I would save them to have them reattached at some point. And so I reached that point, I reached that goal, and I cut them shortly before I moved into this place. So this morning I woke up and I'd already had my appointment set. So here's a little clip of that. I made a little video for that.
What's up, everybody? So it's gonna be a slight little change in appearance because this morning I am going to have my locks reattached. So yeah, wanted to post this video first because people will be like, what happened to you? You just look different. But this is actually my hair. I'm not buying lock extensions or no shit. So yeah, I am getting them reattached this morning, and I'll come back and show you the end result. And I'll probably go ahead and record my first video today with my locks back. So, all right, see you in a few minutes.
And about 4 hours later, she had taken my locks and reattached them. So I'm really happy to have my locks back. I really missed them, but it was for a good reason. I needed to cleanse a little bit of negative energy, and now that all that's gone and I have a whole new start, it was time to put them back. So that's that. So anyway, I thought I would do the first episode of a series where I'll just respond to questions or comments from the viewers of the channel. So I picked a few, and I thought that I would either read the comment or answer the question if it's a question that was asked. So let's just jump right in really quickly. Hold on one second. We'll pull up the first one. So it says, this brother was on the live show I did with Monique. I think he was one of Monique's big fans. But he says, in regards to the episode I did about Dr. Phil, he says, K Fitz, I think that Dr. Phil is spot on. I was in for 18 years and I left the first chance I got. I think he meant left. The problem is people don't have no aspirations and goals, so they fall for anything. I don't think he was making fun of him. He was just talking to him like he has no common sense, because he doesn't. By the way, he doesn't have to know anything about Jehovah's Witnesses. He's a smart guy, like most people. It's totally not Dr. Phil's fault she's weak enough to get doctrinated. By the way, you can't help nobody wake up. They gotta wake themselves up. Okay. Razor, you a smart, funny dude. Well, you a funny dude. And I enjoy talking to you on our show. I'm just going to say a few things about that comment, Razor. You were in for 18 years and you left the first chance you got. I don't know how true that statement is. you may have left at the first opportunity where you thought it's finally time for you to leave. But, I don't know if you were in from 0 to 18 or you were just in for 18 years. I'm going to assume you were in from 0 to 18. In that case, you probably did leave as soon as you became an adult. The issue, though, is not necessarily that people don't have no aspirations and goals, as you put it. It's that there are a lot of people who have a lot of problems, and a lot of people are weak mentally. And especially if you're a person who has lost someone special to you, or have never really had a strong role model in your life to teach you that you don't necessarily have to follow someone else. It's easy for a person like that to, in their quest to find something to make them happy, they are easily influenced by something that sounds really, really good. Like that thing that you've been looking for. It's like, I found it. Someone who's lost a loved one, they could be approached and think this is the only way that I have to see my loved one again. Or, there's a lot of situations like that. So I don't think it's that people don't have no aspirations and goals. You said you don't think he was making fun of him. He was just talking to him like he has no common sense, because he doesn't. See, that's the thing that was the reason why I made that video, because statements like that, for you to have been someone that was in the organization for 18 years, to just say he's talking to you like you have no common sense, that is making fun of somebody. Everybody doesn't have the same type of common sense. That's true. But at the same time, if you're a doctor and you're treating someone who has been indoctrinated or brainwashed, you don't talk to them like they have no common sense. I don't think there's anywhere in the DSM, which is the book for mental disorders, is, one of the treatments that you talk to them like they have no common sense. That's not the way you treat someone who has been indoctrinated, or someone who has been, who may have some type of post-traumatic stress disorder, which a lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and current Jehovah's Witnesses have. So to say that he was talking to him like he has no common sense, that's a way that someone in your position would say, someone who has not been trained as a doctor. So that sentence in itself lets me know, yes, you don't know what someone in a position of being a doctor is supposed to do, and Dr. Phil didn't either. Now, by the way, he doesn't have to know anything about Jehovah's Witnesses. He's a smart guy, like most people. That is not true, Razor. That's a ridiculous statement. If you're a doctor and you're about to perform, let's say you're a heart surgeon, and for some reason you take on performing surgery on someone's ankle, even though that's not your specialty, you're a smart dude, but you don't know anything about ankle surgery. So it would be incumbent upon you to learn about ankle surgery before you perform an ankle surgery. Dr. Phil may be a smart guy and he may know about mental disorders, but unless he has been trained or has done research on the specificities or the specifics of what occurs in someone's mind that has been indoctrinated by Jehovah's Witnesses, then he is not informed enough to be able to treat that properly. And that's what happened. When I interviewed the woman that was on his show, she said that she gave him several things to research and they failed to do that. So that statement, Razor, is kind of ridiculous. Last part of this sentence, or this comment, it's totally not Dr. Phil's fault she's weak enough to get indoctrinated. By the way, you can't help nobody wake up. They gotta wake themselves up. That's true and it's not true. This isn't the Matrix. There are things that we all will do naturally to try to wake somebody up. Now, you may you may say something to someone and they may ignore you, but then that same thing could be said to a different person and the result could be completely different. You really never know how someone's going to react to information like that. There are some people who you can help wake up, and there are some people that do have to wake themselves up. So overall, I would say I disagree with your comments for the most part, but there was one or two things where I kind of understand what you were saying. Let's go on to the next one. Lord of the Pies says, in regards to the video I made about living in your car, were you working whilst living in your car? Yes. I was still doing Amazon Flex. I was still choreographing professionally. I was choreographing for 2 different country artists while I was still living in my car. And I was doing Uber as well. So I was doing 3 different things for work while I was living in my car, which is why I was able to put up so much money, pay off a lot of debt that was affecting my credit negatively, get a new car and get a new place. So yeah. The next one is from Trans AS01. He or she says, how about skip all this shit and get a freaking job? I think I answered that already. And then this is in regards to the same video. This is one of those people that I talk about that comments before they actually watch the video. And had they actually watched that video, then they would have known the answer to that. They wouldn't have typed that dumb shit. So yeah, there you go. The next one is from Lady Ellington. She says, in regard to the video about that Monique and I made about, I think that video was about the way we were talking about how black people are treated in the organization. She says, when you read that part about blacks being good servants, I recall a recent part given by Samuel Hurd, of all people, that seems to recite that phrase. I think that some African American witnesses objected to a statement in the Watchtower on the topic of slavery. The org still has remnants of blacks not being viable members. You only need to look at the governing body members since the beginning and see what they think. I agree. I agree with that 100%. As a matter of fact, I think I found a picture that represents that statement very well. All right, let's go to the next one. Now, this one is kind of long, and I kind of don't want to read it, but at the same time I do. So let's just read this one kind of quickly. Eastside Hustler 07 says, family court is not a court of law, it is a court of equity. So in turn, they do not have to abide by the Constitution and all of your rights. Now, this is in regards to the video I made about 7 things not to do when going through a child support case. If you're a man, you're automatically viewed as a horrible being and will be punished. Never once in my child support custody case, my ex was awarded sole custody off the top. One ever talked to me to see if I was a decent person, good father, my involvement with my child, nothing. These courts are a joke and are responsible for breaking up the bonds parents have with their children. The children are used as pawns and suffer due to the outcomes just so the high-ranking officials can't line their, I'm assuming he means can line their pockets, and do not give a single thought or care to the damage they are inflicting. It's a sad situation for so many men and how they are taken for everything they have and left with not enough to provide for themselves. All the while, the mother is out here balling on your money, not spending half of the support payment on the child, and not required to give receipts of where the money goes. I agree with a lot of things that you said in that comment, Eastside. A lot of times the court is just, let me rephrase that. The courts do seem to not really have the best interest of the child in mind. Because if someone is paying an amount that's so high that they can't provide for themselves, that's not really in the best interest of the child. If a father can't pay and he gets thrown in jail, that's not really in the best interest of the child. If a female is having several children that she can't afford and is not suffering any consequence for her actions and simply being awarded monies for her actions, that's not really in the best interest of the child, because that adult is not learning responsibility for her actions. Therefore, it can't really teach the responsibility for your actions to the child. So that's not in the best interest of the child either. So yeah, I agree with a lot of things that you said in this comment. Fortunately, I can honestly say that, even though we're not together, my daughter's mother was a good mother for the most part. She was a really good mother. And her and my daughter have a good relationship for the time being. So I know there are a lot of people who don't have the ability to say that. There are a lot of parents or a lot of moms out here who aren't. There are some good moms too, but there are some people who are taking advantage of the system. So yeah, let's keep going. Tboy048714 says, any advice on open accounts with late payments? And this is in regards to the video I made about how to improve your credit score. My advice to that would be, one of the things that I did, I would advise that you talk to the company that you have the debt with and ask if they would be willing to, if you paid the payment in full, to wipe the debt off your credit report. Or if you made a lump sum payment, would they be willing to adjust your credit report to view that the account is up to date? And you also want to make sure that if you do that and you negotiate with them, that you negotiate to have the account completely removed. You don't want the account to reflect that you've paid it or it's been paid off or something like that, because that's not going to affect your credit as positively as having the entire thing completely removed from your account. So I would say try to talk to them, try to have it removed if you pay all of it in full, or have them agree to bring it as up to date on your report if you make a lump sum payment. All right, let's go to the next one. This is another dumbass. Workfromhomereps.com says, you're homeless because you refuse to go to work. This is in regards to the video I made about living in your car. I don't think I really need to say anything. The reply I made to this person was plenty. Let's go to the next one. Can we hit 1K subscribers with 2 videos? Says, I'm 18 and moving to California and sleeping in my car. Something is pulling me there and I just really want to save so I can be worry-free in the future. Wish me luck. Good luck. Let's go to the next one. Welsh Simon says, as a dub, I never shunned anyone, so no forgiveness. This is in regards to the video I made about whether or not you should forgive friends and family who shun you. And Welsh, I agree with you 100%, bro. No forgiveness. Let's go to the next one. Now this one kind of tugged at me a little bit, because this is one of the reasons why I do what I do. This comment is from a 13-year-old, and I blocked out her name because I didn't want anyone to possibly be able to recognize her in any way. But here's her comment. She says, I am a 13-year-old forced to be a Jehovah's Witness, which I do not want to be. And there was a talk one day on a Sunday, and one brother said that you can't follow your heart because your heart is imperfect. And that made me realize that this religion makes you not be what you want to be, and I don't want to be in it anymore. But it's not like I can stop being a Jehovah's Witness until I move out. See, this is really sad, because this is someone that was born in, obviously, and wants to not be a Jehovah's Witness, but she can't But they can't because they obviously are dependent upon their parents for a living. And see, this is one of the things I realize when you're under 18, you don't know everything. And it's still up to this person to be respectful and obedient of their parents' rules and regulations, as long as their parents are trying to take care of them. So I'm not going to get on here and say if you're under 18, you should just be going out here and say, I'm not doing what my parents want me to do because I know everything, which, at 13, you don't. But at the same time, it's difficult for someone if they already know they don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness. And now I literally just, the woman that put my locks back in today, we had this same conversation. She was actually a Jehovah's Witness, and she left when she was very young as well. And I think I'm going to have her on the show to talk about her experiences. She's had a very interesting life, and she's a very intelligent woman. It would be a great conversation to have with her. But it's difficult for someone that's that young if they already realize that that's not what they want to be in life, and they know they're going to have to just do it for the next however many years until they're out on their own. So I really sympathize with this person, and it really kind of hurts me to hear it, because honestly, I didn't really want to be one when I was that age either, but I had to because, my mom was. It wasn't like I could stop either. And I tried to make myself want to be one, and it worked sometimes, but sometimes it didn't. So I really sympathize with this person. There's really nothing that I can do or say to change this person's situation. All I can say is that if I were in that position now, if I could go back in time, I would still do as much research about the organization as I could, and maybe I don't think it would probably be a good idea to start talking about the information that you learn. But if you can keep yourself informed and keep yourself strong and just deal with it until you are able to leave, which is probably what so many of us have done or do, that's probably the best thing to do. Maybe at some point there'll be a way that you can have some type of conversation with your parent to see where their mind is. If you were to just say, hey, I saw this information on TV, and I wonder what they're talking about, to see what they say. 9 times out of 10, they're going to say you shouldn't be watching that kind of stuff anyway, and they're going to make it a negative thing for you. So I would honestly just wait until I became an adult and maybe have that conversation then, because if you try to do it when you're young, you might get kicked out, and you definitely don't want that. So yeah. All right. I think that's enough. I'm going to just talk about those. So guys, I'm going to have, I left a poll on my channel as well. I think I'm going to start doing a morning show. So if you guys could find the poll on my channel, I think I've had like 20 people vote for it already, but it asks what times would be best for you guys if I were to do a morning show, and if you're actually interested in it or not. So if you guys could go on the channel and answer that question for me, I'd appreciate it. I also will leave a link. I don't know if there's anybody here on my channel that has natural hair, but the lady that I go to works with all types of natural hair. She's a really good person, really great person. So I'll leave a link to her website in the description as well. So if there's anybody out there that wants to have somebody that works with natural hair deal with their hair, you can contact her. Her name is Celesta. She's really good. So yeah, guys, that'll be the end of this episode. I think I'll do this every couple of weeks or so. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for calling in on that show that we just did about the Scientology Aftermath show. That was a really fun episode. So I appreciate you guys' support. Anyway, thanks again. See you guys on the next one. Peace.